Good morning, everybody. We're back. Okay, I'm gonna get set up on my computer real quick so I can see comments again. So one thing I've noticed through this is that when you do comment, it's a little bit delayed. So good morning, Nicole. So if you do comment on it and it's a little bit delayed before I see the comment. So if I don't respond to a comment or question right away, that's the reason. Let me do this real quick. Make sure all my noises are turned off, just in case. Awesome. Okay, that should be working. So, today, first of all, thank you guys so much for all the orders online. We worked right up to 5:30 for pickups and had people ordering right up till 4 o'clock. So that was completely amazing for you guys to support us that way. The website is now currently shut down. You can still go to it. Roy says, good morning. Roy, I had to lock Copper upstairs. He was laying nicely on the couch, but then as soon as I start talking, he would come maul me, and that could be disastrous, as we all know. Anyways, so you can still go to the website. It's still, if you go to blackdogpottery.net, there's still going to be a pop-up with just, the latest updates. And you can go there. You still, so right now you can only buy pre-order the sticker, which will be, I haven't ordered those in yet, so it's just a pre-order for right now. And then once, I get, enough orders, I will order the stickers in and get them all mailed out. And then there's also a link to do e-gift cards if you guys want to do that right now. So that's the only thing that's up on the website right now. Everything else is shut down. Depending on the progression on how we get to work our way back into business, I know we have no idea at this point if they allow us to go back to just do non-essential businesses go back and be able to do to-go orders or however, or we'll just get to open up to full-fledged business. However that works out, we don't know yet. So right now we're doing this. So coffee, Black Dog Pottery. And today I'm going to be doing some masking tape, creative masking tape ideas. Mostly going around color blocking, and it doesn't necessarily have to be color blocking. Term color blocking actually is contrasting colors next to each other, but you are, art rules are usually made to be broken. So you don't have to have contrast, and you can just do like an ombre effect with a darker blue working into a lighter blue or something like that. But I've been doing some research and pulling some pictures of different ways to just use masking tape creatively. Most of these ideas are kind of kid geared, but obviously if you're an adult and you just like to be creative and need some ideas to get out there and get some color in your life, go ahead and follow these ideas. So I don't have a ton of samples, real life samples. So I was pulling a bunch of stuff on Pinterest and Google and stuff I'd seen before. Hang on just a second. Let me log in. So I'm just going to show some pictures on my iPad like I did yesterday, just to kind of give some ideas. So basically color blocking is essentially taking masking tape or whatever type of tape you want. Painter's tape works great, and just laying it down in a different pattern. Hello, Christopher. Then coloring those areas in with different colors, which is why it makes it a great idea for kids, because it's a parent can lay it down if the kids are really small and can't, don't have that I don't know the word I'm trying to look for, but don't have those skills yet to kind of do that type of pattern. A parent can lay them down, and then the kids can just color in those specific areas. So I'm just gonna try not to have a glare again like I did yesterday. So here's just a really simple random idea of color blocking. I'm gonna see which way I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna go this way. So this is a great one for kids, obviously smaller kids that have no control of their motor skills. But a parent can lay down the tape on a canvas or a piece of paper, and then just let the kid go at it with colors all over. And then when you peel the tape up, you still have this really fun art design that that can be a memory thing. You could even, if you were really creative and did like hand lettering or anything like that, you could write quarantine 2020 or whatever across it and make that like a wall hanging. So here's another idea with this is more just masking tape, not as much color blocking, but just doing a pattern of mountains, and the kids can paint those in colors you choose. That can you guys see that okay? In colors you choose, so kind of mountainy colors. That would be a fun thing to hang on a wall in a bedroom. And then here's another idea. Obviously, circle letters and stuff are going to be a little bit more difficult to do. But you can do letters, you can do a giant initial. Amanda. Yes, you could do marbles. I'm going to get to a marble technique eventually. And so you can do letters or a giant initial or a birthday or anything like that. And then here's just another really, I got some of these images off of, what does this one say? My sister's suitcase. So I snagged this picture from her website, and this is just allowing kids putting it down. And so even if there's some bleeding, it still kind of gives a cool art effect. So it doesn't matter if it's 100% crisp. Obviously you can, if you want to make sure it's like that. Some people are, again, more specific than I am. I'm not that big of a, I don't care that much usually when it comes to stuff like that. So here's a cool idea. I snagged this one off of carlsbedcrawl.com. They put it up on their fence. Obviously a parent here helped out with the geometric design, but they just put it up, and you can see all the painter's tape that's just laying on the ground. I'm not 100% sure this looks like sidewalk chalk to me, just because of the pasteliness of it, but it could be paint or whatever. So that's a fun thing to do. Let me see if I have, even if you don't have masking tape and you have bricks in your yard, send your kids out to color one brick. I'm going to get back to that one. So this is a picture I snagged from one of my friends, Tara Fletcher, and she did this in their parking lot or driveway or patio area. So put down the masking tape, and then the kids just colored different blocks in. If you want to, you could even label an initial of each kid in each color, in each block area, and then let them color it in. The fun thing about this is you can, it'll rain and it'll wash away, and then you can just do a whole new one whenever break we have between rain. And this is one I really love. I also snagged this from a friend of mine, Lynn, and I've seen these a few times. So they did the masking tape up on their windows, and then used like a washable Crayola paint with some dish soap mixed into it, just like a dab or so of dish soap. And then the kids colored in, let's see if the kids colored in the different sections, and so it looks like a stained glass window. I know with Easter coming up, that's a great idea. I saw a different one that had a cross in the middle with more of the Easter thing in mind. You could even lay out letters, and so when you peel the tape up, you have a saying like stay happy or something like that. I don't know, and an inspirational thing, but this is one of my favorite ones I've been seeing right now, which is just a really fun thing to just have in your windows, so when people drive by, we're getting just really encouraging messages or just happy thoughts as we're driving down the road during this crazy time. So that's all the kind of samples I have. I'm going to go back to this one real quick because it's kind of one of the ones that I'm going to talk about today and do a sample on. So this is, I don't know their name, but this is something that was done at the shop last year. So this is coasters, just our round coasters. I have those here today that we're going to use for a sample. And then we carry, like I was saying in the first video, different size widths of tape. So this is obviously a much more narrow tape than it is than your normal standard tape you get at Home Depot or whatever in the painter's section. But this is how simple it is. Like, just look at this. 2 pieces of tape and a cross and then each color is painted, or each section's painted differently, and it's just so, it's just really pretty and unique. It's actually the really kind of modern design look lately is really popular and trendy. I've seen, I don't know, I think I've seen even on TV commercials, people using painter's tape on their walls in different designs and then painting those sections in, maybe like a light gray and a dark gray, just all over. One of my favorite techniques I had seen, just if you're really bored and wanting to like paint your walls in your house right now, you can do like the same type of thing, maybe in more of a pattern, like triangles or I don't know, the one that's like this, the tribal-ish style, and you can buy the same color paint, only like have one as a matte and one as a high gloss, and have it alternating, and that would get, I mean, you'd have the same like color tone in your room, but just the sheen difference it would just make a really elegant looking room, I think, depending on how you do your layout. I mean, you could play it up and do more fun colors and have, you know, go for whatever style you want, but there's a lot you can do with masking tape. Most of it's the color blocking thing, obviously. Some other ideas are, I've seen where you can take, like, I know we can't go to thrift stores right now, but sometimes if you have, a lot of times I get some random pictures that, at garage sales or whatever, that someone's grandma's painted that they practice on. I mean, I have some of my own like that are not really wall hanging worthy, but you can get those and lay down masking tape or even vinyl letters, paint a solid color over the top or even color block over the top, and peel the letters up and have some sort of, thank you, Holly, some sort of saying or anything like that over the top of those. So, I mean, not only color blocking, but masking. Masking tape is, you know, you put it down first and then you can paint over the top. The other thing you can do, if you don't want to have white lines, you can paint your background black or a different contrasting color. Make sure it's really, really dry and then put your tape down. And then paint your colors over the top of those, and then when you pull those up, you're going to have black lines, so it's just a different idea. Who knows how long we'll be all sitting at home, so maybe do a white one day and do a black one the same colors another day down the road and hold them up and just see the difference. I need a drink of this. I've got coffee today, not tea like yesterday. I'm needing some coffee. All right, so I am going to flip you down to do a little bit of a tutorial. I meant to grab my Crayola markers, so I have like the big fatty Crayola markers, but I didn't. So today we've got our smelly markers. I don't know, I don't know, I had all of these when I was a kid. Which was your favorite smell? Anybody? I think mine is, I always loved the light pink one. I mean, these are like 15 years old, so the fact that they even smell like anything anymore is probably miraculous. If I get a little crazy by the end of this, it's because I've been sniffing my markers. Let's see. Pink is melon. I can see that. Yes, which pink? Nicole, I've got pink. The light pink is melon, and then the dark pink is raspberry. Let's see. It smells raspberry-ish. I can smell that. I'm a little bit stuffy. I've got some allergies going on, so there's partly of that going on. The other one of my favorites was the light blue, which apparently is mango. I don't know. I'm not a huge mango fan, but this was always one of my favorites. Black licorice is my least favorite. Yes, Amanda likes the cherry. I'm gonna just smell, like, I'll be like Emerald. It's smell-o-vision. Just kidding. Okay, sorry. If I could, like, put these up here and be like, here, smell them all. Okay. I'm already getting crazy, guys. All right, so I'm gonna flip you down. First, I'm gonna show you on some paper. And let me turn the light on. Guys, I have wires going everywhere. Clearly, I need to better prepare for this whole situation. Oh, dark blue. Dark blue is blueberry. Yeah, ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Grape is always a good one, too. Let me smell that one real quick. This one might be dead. Like, oh, I can kind of smell grape now. All right, enough sniffing markers, guys. So I'm going to bring you down. I've already started on this. Is this whole thing going to be in the frame? So can you see that okay? Let me see if I can adjust there. Can you guys see the outline and the tape? It's kind of, I think you can. So I just took my regular roll of Scotch tape, and not Scotch tape, what the heck? Masking tape. This is just one that we have at the shop. Again, I get a lot of my tape just at Home Depot, but I have been buying it elsewhere to get, I have 2 or 3 narrower sizes than this. And I just on this piece of paper, I just laid down an outside frame. And one thing you guys want to think about if you're going to do it on paper is making sure, like when you peel it up, it might peel the paper up. So there's a few things you can do before you stick it down. And then, I don't know if you can see, but up here, I already started cutting my masking tape in half. And so that's what these are here. And so literally, let me show you guys how to do that real quick, if you need a tutorial on that. So I literally just laid it down. Oop, hang on, I didn't stick it to this because I stuck it to the edge of my table, but I just laid it down like that. And I had scissors somewhere. I don't know where they went. Hang on. So I just stuck it down and then just cut down the middle. If you want narrower ones, you can, cut it into thirds. You can use a ruler to do this. If you have not a masking tape, but like an X-Acto knife, you can use an X-Acto knife and actually just lay it down. Or even if you have one of those craft cutters, which I don't right now, it's at the shop, but I actually have taken painter's tape, laid down on the craft cutter, and then just ran my line. That's the, oh, here's my scissors. And then just lifted up the strip. So, I have no nails. So, like this. These ones I just cut down the middle. To have it stuck down on one end, unless you have people at home, which I don't, copper is no help in this situation. You just cut down. What you want to try to avoid is all the jaggedy edges, and I have a couple of them that have really jaggedy edges. And probably if you have like big kid scissors and not little kid scissors that are stuck on my thumb right now, you can that'll be easier not to have the jaggedy lines. So anyways, and then I just cut it down that far and then lifted it up and then tore the end, and if I want to use the end I can, if not, whatever. So, and then I just stuck them up here, kind of to hopefully keep them from sticking to themselves and becoming a hot mess. So I'm going to bring this back down, and so I just started laying them down. So you can see here that I've got one going this way, and I just did another one that way. And if I have one and then I cut it off, you want them to not stick over the edge of the next tape. So if I do something like right here, and this was longer, like this corner might be kind of longer, you can just tear it and lay it down like that. So you guys kind of get the picture of this. If you want, you can do it in a pattern way. Oh my gosh, this tape is crazy. I'm just gonna kind of lay it all down real quick. So now I have just a random one going that way and a random one going that way. You could even like kind of round this or use a few pieces and have like a sun with sunbeams coming off of it. That's what I'm looking at right now, is sunbeam type situation, until I put that there. So yeah, you can just lay it down however you want, or if you have a little kid and you can have them help you where to put it. I'm just gonna keep sticking these real quick. So I have a whole page going on. Obviously, this is how easy it is. Don't think about it too hard. People like my husband Travis, I don't know that he'd be able to do this, because he like wants to have more of a pattern and everything. So anyways, so that's kind of the quick thing here. And then I made sure all these worked. Actually, I almost sniffed it again. I think that's a habit of smelly markers, is sniffing them when you take the cap off. So I'm just gonna fill up these holes. What I like to do, and if you're working with kids, it's not really that, I don't know if it would be, it's that big of a deal, but I like to, ooh, look at that. Check this out. So I'm using my markers. If you're using paint, you probably don't want to do this, but you can fade it out if you want. I don't know. I probably didn't want to do blues next to each other. Sorry, I got excited by this blending situation. Anyways, you want to just do different colors next to each other that are just probably not the same, but if it is the same, not a big deal. Just roll with it. But let's go back to what I was gonna show you. I like to pull away, so you see how I'm starting at the edge of the tape and pulling out and doing the same thing like this. That just keeps, if you are, if you're just scribbling, and again, if it's little kids and you might get that bleeding, this helps keep the line a little bit more crisp. If you're using markers, same thing if you're using paints though, because paints have a little bit more liquid in them, obviously, they would tend to bleed a little bit more. The thing with the markers is, you don't want to, oh, I don't know what the thing with the markers is. I lost my train of thought, but, I don't know. That went away. So anyways, I'm just going to fill these in real quick and probably just on 1/2 and then peel up that section. So I'm just going to kind of use like the blue family of Julie type tones. Does that make sense? Who knows? So some dark pinks and blues and purples and stuff. Let's do another dark blue down here. This is the exact same concept you would use if you wanted to do it on your sidewalk or your window or anything like that. Oh, light pink. The melon. Obviously, if you're using paints or a different color marker, the issue I've always had with my smelly markers is that you do get these lines. I guess you don't get it as much, but if you're doing a really nice coverage. So let's do this giant, let's do this guy. You know what, I might as well fill this whole thing in for you because it's really not taking me that long. So anyways, how's everybody doing? If anybody wants to add a comment during this time, I will try to respond as best I can. Snag a cup of coffee. This is my official first day of not being open, but I am going into the shop today because I need to do a couple things. Let me scoot that over. So anyways, I think like smelly markers are not the best for blending, mainly because you don't have, like the blues and the greens are probably the best you could do for blending because you can start on one side with a dark blue and then have the lighter blue and then kind of blend towards the middle. But there's definitely markers out there that are better for blending. There's also, there's definitely paints and stuff like that that are better for blending. This could even be done with crayons. I thought about using my crayons, my box of like, how many are these? This box of crayons. Oh, that's not 96, not the 100 billion. So definitely I could have done some blending with my crayons. In fact, maybe I'll do that real quick on one of these because why not? Probably should have done it there. The other thing I was thinking about, especially if you wanted to do like the black background first and then do some colors or even white background, you could, if you had thinner lines, you don't even have to have thinner lines, but you could do a mandala over the top of this, which would be really, could be really interesting. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I haven't colored with crayons in like forever. Violet. I hear Copper. He's walking around upstairs. So I'm just going to do violet and fuchsia. And to do, I don't know if you can see that, but if I'm going to color off the edge like that, see how I'm getting that line right there by the tape? And so I'm going to be a little bit, going to go back and just kind of cover that up. And then I'll start with fuchsia on this end. Colored pencils, if you have any, I don't know, there's watercolor color pencils, so you can, even with marker probably you could do this, but watercolor color pencils, you could do the same thing, and then you go back and can use a wet paintbrush or a thing called a blender pen, but that might be, right now I'm just kind of showing like accessible things. So you just kind of, I'm going to do, so I did a little bit darker and then I kind of blended this way as a little bit lighter. I'm going to do the same thing over here and blend this way. So you have just that kind of a blend from one color to the next. It's not a very harsh blend, but kind of like an ombre, a slight ombre effect. Just for the sake of being quick, I'm gonna just color this top section in. I always like, you can go all the way off the edge. We're gonna see how well this peels up in a second here. But I always like to kind of do a border, so you're gonna have that hard border. The other thing you could do with crayons, because they're wax, let's just try this real quick. Why not? You can just draw something like a heart. I don't know if this is gonna work. I feel like this should work. In my mind, it's gonna work, but you know, since you guys are all watching, it may or may not work. And then go over the top of that, and oops, I shouldn't have done that because I had the blue on my finger. I have blue on all my fingers. But you can see the wax resists the marker, so it's over the top of it, but it's standing out. That's completely a random thing to show, but it just popped in my head. So when you peel the tape up, you want to make sure you're getting tape that's on the top. So like this piece here is one full piece of tape. And this piece here. I like to pull it straight back like this because you're still getting some tearing. So the other trick is if your paper this isn't necessarily made to have masking tape on it. A trick of doing that is just taking your tape and like sticking it down to your wrist or clothing or something just to take a little bit of the tacky off, and then sticking it on there. Then it'll peel up a lot easier without having, without pulling a bunch of your paper up. But the other thing you need to keep in mind if you do that is to make sure it won't be as tacky when you're going over the edge. So, trying to go as fast as I can here. And then I'll show one on the coasters. Some of you guys got coasters. I thought about adding those last minute to the website. I was just like, oops. You might want to wait a little bit because I'm literally smearing marker everywhere, but I'm doing this really quickly also. It's actually kind of nice out today, guys. I wasn't expecting. I was just expecting rain. And rain and rain and rain. And two more, and then we'll do the outside. Color blocking is one of those things, ooh, crap, I've never really done a whole lot of, but I really like the look of it. That one tore a little bit. These ones that I put on like at the very beginning. I follow somebody on Instagram. It's called I'll have to figure out I can't remember what it's called. Something Simple Challenge, and they do a lot of color blocking with watercolors, which are just really, really pretty. All right, now I'm gonna go around the outside. This is why like doing it on concrete outside on your sidewalk, or doing it on the windows like I showed, is a really great idea. The tape obviously is not going to stick to that one as much, or really at all, but still this is looking pretty cool in its randomness. Ideally I would have done smaller white strips because that's just how I am. The other thing you can do if you wanted to take this one step farther for a doodle aspect is, let me find, I know I have something that I want to use here. Hang on. I want a black pen. Yesterday I had a Sharpie somewhere. I don't want to use black licorice, guys, because this one's being a pain. hang on, let me finish this real quick. Okay, let me find my Sharpie. I don't want to pen that thick, but if that's all I got, that's all I got. Oh hey, here's a blender pen. So this is I used to sell Stampin' Up, which is random. But this is basically a watercolor pen. I don't know, like, let me see. You can just it actually just blends color. So I think you can still buy these. Obviously not a Stampin' Up one at Walmart or whatever. This pen has a sharp tip. Hopefully it works. That's not like what I want. Okay. Okay, so I'll use this pen real quick. So another thing you can do, if you wanted to, is actually outline these, and you might want to do this before you peel the tape up. And then you can you guys see what I'm doing? So you can do that, and then let me outline this too. Then if you wanted to, you could do little designs between each one. I don't know, just some fun thing to continue to be artistic with it. That's just a random thought. So that's kind of the gist of the color blocking. That's the basic technique on all the things, all the images I showed you earlier. Oh my gosh, my heart. If you wanted to do something like an initial, obviously most people, I should know some sort of statistic on how many curved letters in the alphabet there are. But if you want to do like a J, that's mine, obviously. Obviously, I'm a J. You can lay down the J, pretend that these are straight, and too long. Guys, I'm gonna do my best. I'm doing this faster than I probably should in real life. So just lay down my J, and then you can just use little pieces if you want to make your J, or you can, or whatever letter, or you can cut the curves if you wanted to, if you were going to be that technical. So I'm just going to rip off little tiny pieces to make my J real quick. If you have access to a vinyl cutter or something like that, or even if you're at Walmart or Michael's or wherever you can buy like a big pack of like 3-inch letters or 2-inch letters. I've even had people come into the shop with like a pack of 3-inch letters and do this kind of idea. So one more piece here. I mean, this is a pretty decent J. I'm feeling decent here with this situation. So I just did that, but then I still have a little edge right there, so I'm just gonna tear my little tiny piece and kind of straighten that section out. And that didn't work perfectly, so I'm gonna I like to if there's random edges, I just kind of fill them out in with little tiny pieces. So here's another sample. So you can color block out from your J, really. Oh my gosh, my tape situation's getting out of control. You can color block out from your J, or another fun thing you can do, and this is done a lot at the shop, is, good grief. Oh, Copper is howling now. That's awesome. You can dot away from it, and like you want to stay really concentrated around the outside edge. This can be done with your dotting tools in the paint we showed yesterday, or I showed yesterday. But what you want to do is make sure you stay really concentrated. These are going to be funky little dots, but just to kind of show the idea around the edge, and then kind of you can spread them out and then go back with another color. Here, I'll go just around the top part. That way we're doing a J and a T if your name starts with a T or whatever. Oh yeah, like Travis. Aw, okay. I'm silly. All right, so, and then go back with another color. You can do different size dots. These are a great idea. So those, I don't know how much they are, but I think you can buy them usually fairly cheap because acrylic pouring is really popular right now. But just even one of those like canvas wrapped things. I'm not thinking of the right words today. But you can just buy those blank canvases that are wrapped around the wood border and do something like this. And this ends up being a really fun and easy project that you can hang on your wall if it's like your family initial or your kid's initial. If you really want like to spend some time, do one for each of the letters in their name, and then you can hang it above their bed. And if you're trying to spread out projects, like you could do just one, like all green tones one day, like a dark green, light green, whatever. I don't want to do purple again. I'm sticking with these colors. Let's do dark blue. So you can see how I'm like more concentrated around the tape, because when I pull the tape up, I want to be able to see the letter, but then I can spread it out as it goes out farther. You can do this with paint. You can do this with crayons. Crayons aren't going to dot as easily probably, but you can also do this idea without dotting, but more like if you have your, if you have like a piece of tape like this and just do different colors like that, like the blues, and you can do light blue kind of overlapping, maybe you want one up here, all the way off the edge, or you can do little strokes. There's a good blending situation. You could do these on Easter eggs if you had paints or markers that you wanted to use, and then just peel it up. I didn't do that very well, but anyway, to just mask the area, let me finish with these blues around the top real quick. Boop, 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 boop. I was telling Travis last night that I appear to have been using a lot of sound effects yesterday, and that's just part of my life is sound effects. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this up. It's going to be more of a tea just for time's sake. On canvases, if you were to use a canvas, it's going to, or something like that, it's going to peel up a lot better. Or I should have done the sticky, like the stick on my skin part first. So, but there you can see, if this was cut on the edges, it would be a sharp T/J if I were to finish that. You could even do this and then do some sort of other mask around the outside, like a heart or something like that, and then just dot inside over the letter to the heart, the edges of the heart, and then peel it up and just have the dots inside the heart or the lines inside the heart. So those are some fun ideas with masking tape that is not necessarily on pottery. All of these ideas can be done on pottery. I'm going to real quick just show you, I did bring home a couple coasters, and I'm just going to mask those real quick, because if you're doing color blocking, it can just be as simple as one line across, and this tape has been everywhere apparently. And just one color here and one color there, and that is, that's just as simple as it can be. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. I'm getting, I don't know if you can see that, but I have ink on my fingers and it's getting on my bisque, and it's okay. It's gonna burn out in the kiln. Most markers are gonna burn out in the kiln, so I'm just taking some of my little tape pieces here and just making a color block situation. However I really feel like doing it. And then I'm gonna just go back in and fill the space with different colors that I choose. What if I did that? It's like a K. Then it's like, I'm gonna do this. It's like a K. Can you guys hear Copper howling back there? There might be some deer in the yard. I had to put him upstairs today because of him being loud yesterday. He was literally on the other side of the door. Now he's upstairs. We have a neighbor cat that likes to just hang out in the in front of their door across the street. Actually, like 2 houses down, there's a neighbor cat that sits out there, and Copper does not feel like it's okay for that cat to sit on their own porch. And that is starting to become an issue here. So the weird thing about Copper is, like, when we're gone all day, he literally just lays in one spot and doesn't move around. Okay, so I'm gonna just do some colors real quick. I'm a red person, so I'm gonna do red and a dark red and a dark green, or just kidding, a dark blue. But let's do dark green too, because that sounds fun. 42 and 15. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oop, I need one more, maybe gray. So I'll just show you real quick. So these are the colors I'm picking. I'm gonna paint them on, and if you've been to the shop before, obviously you will know. Yes, Amanda, thank you. I will get to that part. Thank you for reminding me that. So I'm gonna use the 42 and 15 and 92, 09, and 38. And I'm gonna pick one more other color, maybe 10, just because that's gonna just be cool. And let's see. So yes, so what Amanda was saying is anything you use. So you can actually, if you do have a vinyl cutter at home, you can cut out a vinyl like design or something and bring it in and use it as a masking piece. And however, you are going to want to either stick it down to Bare Bisque, which this is stuck down to Bare Bisque, and it's stuck down pretty good. If you paint something in the shop and it is still damp, the tape isn't going to stick to it the way you want it to. So you have to keep that in mind. Like, you're going to want to, if you want to have a color underneath, you can do it one of two ways. You can put the tape down, do your masking, peel the tape up, and then very carefully go back through and paint your voided areas that were not painted. Or you can paint the whole thing your background color, but it has to be really, really dry before you can put the tape down. Almost dry overnight, which is kind of crazy. But we have been asking people to, if you don't finish a piece, to take it home with you. And that's another thing you can do. If you want to come in, paint your background colors, and then take it home and then work on your vinyl stencil. This also would work with like contact paper. If you just drew out a design onto contact paper and laid it down on there, you could use that as your masking idea. And we do have contact paper at the shop. So I'm gonna go ahead. I was gonna pick another color. Oh yeah, 10. So I think what I'm going to do is grab my paintbrushes, because that's always a good idea. I need to go grab some water real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I got water. Do not tell Travis that I'm using just our kitchen glasses. It's fine. It's fine. He doesn't watch Facebook. So I'm going to use 10. Apparently I used 10 yesterday, so this is my color of the week. Tomorrow I should use it, right? I think I'm going to do bubble technique tomorrow, which, I don't know. That one's going to be kind of intense. So I think what I'm going to do, you don't have to have a plan for your color blocking, but I think I'm going to do the blue and green tones over here, and then the pink or the red and yellowish tones over here. So I think that's my plan, or do it the opposite way. I might do it the opposite way, actually. Reds over here and blues over here. So I'm going to, let's see, I think I'm going to do the 42 in the middle. So this is, again, I'm pulling away from the tape. That way it helps from bleeding. Helps the bleeding underneath the tape. And then I want to do one coat. Still want to do 3 coats for solid coverage. I like to do all of my brush strokes the same way though, even as I do my coats, because if there is a little bit of a brush strokiness once it's done and fired, it looks more intentional than just having a bunch of paintbrush strokes. I mean, if you did it that way too, it would look intentional as well. Ideally, I would wash my brush between each one and use the flat brush for all of this. But since I'm not doing that, I'm going to just use this round brush for the next color. So that way I'll have 3 dirty brushes, and then I'll do the coats 3 times, and then I'll clean them and do the other colors. So I'm going to do 10 down here. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Usually I've been eating before this. I'm getting kind of hungry. All right, so there's my turquoise, and then I'm going to do my dark blue. So this is an example of, the dark blue is like the biggest example of the color difference once it gets fired. So glaze is essentially a liquid glass, or it's essentially like a powder glass that's ground down and then turned into a liquid to paint on. That's why when it fires up to a certain temperature, it gets that glossy look. So I'm going to show you real quick. This purpley color right here is actually going to fire out to be 38, which is like a really dark navy blue color. And then this color and this color, and then this color and that color. So it's definitely changes. It's a big learning curve for a lot of people. You get used to it over time, but then I think that's one of the biggest shocks for people when they come and get their stuff, on how much different the glaze colors change. Just going back over for my second coat. Guys, I hope this looks like a K when I'm done, because that was my original plan. Or, it wasn't my plan going into it, but that's what it got turned into. If I'm going to do a set of 4, am I going to do like a... What else am I going to do? All Ks? I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I'm not going to do a set of 4 on video, because that would be long. That would be a long time. Plus, you probably don't want to listen to me ramble on like I have been the whole time. All right, one more coat. So see how I did this one is pretty much all dry, and this one's looking still glossy. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but yeah, a little bit. So the actual one that's painted on the pottery, it's not as dry on the tape yet, but you can, sorry, I was just reading a question. So I'm going to go over that one next because it's dry. You want it to be not glossy to do your next coat. So Peggy, we are actually closed to the public right now. So yesterday was the last day you could order online to pick up in the store, and then as of 5:30 last night for the stay-at-home order, we are currently just closed to the public until further notice, until that gets lifted, whenever and however that is allowed to happen. All right, and I'm gonna go over the turquoise again real quick. And then the olivey green, army green, mash. I think this one's called mash. It's right here. I should be able to tell you. Yes. All of our glaze colors have super fun names. So I know it's probably backwards to you, but mash is the green. Galaxy is the 38, which is the dark one. So if that helps with the color. Teal Tomorrow is the teal one. Oh my gosh, I'm stuck to tape. Teal Tomorrow is the turquoise one. So that's kind of, they all have fun colors, but on our palette I number them because there would be no room to try to write down all the names on there. However, if you're ever in the store, you can look at them all and see what they're called. So now I'm going to do the other colors. Let me clean these brushes real quick. So I just clean my brushes, and then when you're at the store and you're cleaning them, we have the napkins and stuff on the table. I don't have any napkins right now, but they don't have to be sopping, or they don't have to be super dry, but I just squeeze off whatever water excess is there. So those ones are clean. You basically want to have them not sopping wet unless you're doing more of a watercolor technique, which I will get to at one point while we're doing this. But you don't want to have like color in them from before. So those ones, you can see how they're still wet. I'm not worried about that. So I'm gonna do red, and then the 09, which is called Red Rover, which is the darker red. So 92, which is Rockin' Red, is bright red, and then Red Rover is the darker red. And What a Yoke is the yellow I'm using, which I have a ton of. I have a ton of all the paints. A little paint goes a long ways, but it's hard to think about that sometimes. Sometimes it just comes out really fast. So I'm gonna do the yellow right here in the middle. And then bright red by the turquoise down here on the bottom. And then the dark red at the top. I wish I could show you guys what this is going to look like fired. In fact, I might bring back that other picture because I can show you kind of the colors I use so you have an idea if it really matters. Thank you. Thank you, Peggy. I feel like I'm kind of rambling on, but just talking through stuff. Go back on this one. And then go back on the yellow. And then the top, the dark one. And then once I'm done with this, I'm going to show you guys one more thing I always like to do to finish stuff off. However, I do have a sample of it. Perfect. Oops, wrong color. Bar. All right. Whoops. This is not the best plan. I'm mixing my colors all over the place. All right. I'm just painting my colors off because I have a little bit of extra color, so I don't know if you can see that, but I just have a little bit of extra. My paintbrush is rolled together, so I'm just kind of cleaning the brush off that way instead of dipping it into paint. And then going back in for my last coat here. And then red. And then the dark red. All right, so those are all done. I'm gonna just throw that stuff into the water. And then you can just peel up the tape. I have it kind of going around the edge. So, oops, sorry if that's not a good noise for people. You can, once you do one side, do the back side if you want. I'm not going to take time to do that today. But I'm just going to peel up this. My K. Probably I'll have to show people and be like, look, it's a K, do you see it? And then people will be like, yes, we see it. We get it. We get it. That's the story of my life. Yes, Becky, I will post a finished video or finished picture. Actually, the videos are all saved, so you can also come on and watch it at a later time. I probably won't have a final picture of this until I get to the shop and get a bunch of stuff through the kiln. So it depends on how dry I can get this today. Usually, stuff painted that day, I don't try to dip and put in the kiln right away. I allow it to dry overnight before we dip it in the clear glaze and then go to the kiln. Okay, it's K. Do you see it? Is it upside down? There you go. Boop, boop. So yeah, but if you want to see the finished before glaze, go ahead and you can watch the video later. I'm going to show you guys something real quick, just because it's there. Do you see, let's see if I can show you this. Like there's a few spots like right there and right there. So something we do in the shop, we have the wooden skewers, and I kind of talked about them being able to clean up. You can go back and just kind of scrape off those areas. So you can see that I just cleaned those up. So yeah, there's my color block coaster. I mean, you can do dotting mandala over the top, or even go back and dot in the extra lines, which maybe I'll do before I fire this, just at least in the K area. I don't know. But I am going to show you guys one more thing that I like to do to finish stuff off. And that's just sponging around the outside edges. And I like to do black usually, depending on what I'm doing. So I'm going to show you how I do that real quick. Let's take some black glaze, and I kind of just hold it up like, I don't know, like this. I don't know. So I'm not actually having my my fingers on the edge, and then very lightly. Oh my gosh, coasters are kind of hard because they're smaller, but if you're doing this on a plate, it works. Very lightly just running your sponge. I'm just kind of twisting it while I'm doing that. And to me, I just think it gives it a little bit of a polished look. Oops, that was a lot. You can also see here how I have kind of a big glop of paint, and I'm kind of dipping into that, and then over onto the side. That's just evening out the amount of paint I'm getting on my sponge. So I don't end up with giant globs, although it's still happening like that, because I'm not doing that good enough for the sake of holding this out and showing you guys. All right, and now that everything is dry pretty good, I can hold it like this, so you can see how I just did the edge. Here's the back, here's the front. And then there's some areas. As that dries, I can go back and just do a second coat. I missed it really bad right there. So yeah, there's that and my black edge, and then I can show a picture of that when it's done, fired. But so all of my, we'll get to this stuff, but actually I'll show you guys this one. Hang on. All right, so I did that on all of these samples I had. So this is the soap bubbles that I'm gonna attempt to share tomorrow. But on all of these, I just ran around the outside edge with my sponge, and I just think it kind of gives it a cleaned look, polished look. If you ever taken one of my classes, I usually do the same. So these plates here also, I just sponged around the outside edge. People a lot of times ask if I paint the backs, especially during classes. Obviously this one's just a color palette type plate, so I don't need to paint the black back, but I feel like by doing that edge around, it cleans off the back, so if I don't want to paint the back, I don't have to. Or if I am painting something, and I'll just sometimes paint up to the foot of a color and then still do the rim, because I just think that it makes it just gives it a nice look. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip you guys back up. Hello, Amanda's specialty. Okay, so I'm gonna show you that picture again of the coasters that were done in the shop, so you can kind of see a finished piece. And let's see, how do I get there? Hang on. No, it's right there. It's not right there. Go back. Hang on. Right here. So here's that picture again. So these are the colors that I didn't use all of these colors, but the red here is the color I used. That color I used, this orangey color. Let's see. Oops. Burp. Oh gosh. Fix. Hang on. Go away. This dark blue that you can't really tell, that's the dark blue I showed you. Actually, let me show you that. This top, oh my gosh, this is not gonna work. Let me try to do it like this. So this top dark blue right here, oh my gosh, guys, it's like trying to do something in the mirror. I'm really struggling. So this dark blue right here is this color, like I showed you how different these get. It's this really light purpley color is gonna fire out to that really dark blue color. So anyways, that was today's tutorial of rambling. So I hope you guys enjoyed that and learned some new things, or at least were inspired to try some different types of techniques out. I hope everybody is having a good day. I'm assuming it's going to rain at some point. Like, don't go outside and play, because in the Pacific Northwest, as soon as you can get ready to go outside, it's pouring down rain on you. So yeah, I hope everybody stays safe, stays inside, or if it's not raining, you know, I don't know. I'm literally rambling. So I thank everybody for watching. And if you guys have any suggestions that you guys want to see me try to show you guys how to do, or have something that you've always wanted to try but aren't sure how to get started, I can try to help you figure that out and maybe do a tutorial on it. So yeah, that was masking tape and color blocking, and I'll be back tomorrow with some bubble technique, which that one's kind of scary. It should be fun, but it's A, messy, and B, it's just crazy. But if you want to join along, again, last night I posted the picture of the masking tape, so if you want, so you need soap, like dish soap, glaze or paint. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and see if it's going to work with regular paint, the acrylic paint from Walmart. So if you have anything like the Apple Barrel or the Color Craft Smart, I think there's also like Folk Art. There's several different brands, but you're just like the paint that just comes in these little bottles. Maybe, I don't have any, but I am going to be going to Walmart today, I believe, to see if they have just different kind of paints. I'd really like to try the window thing. I've thought about maybe putting like a big inspirational thing up on the window at the shop. So I might be running by Walmart just to see what they have there. I also need onions and potatoes. So yes, I don't know. Every time I drive by or drive home from work, I'm like, look over and I'm like, I don't want to. But we'll see. Now that I don't have to be at the shop at a certain time, I'm going to attempt Walmart and attempt to sit in the 10-mile long lines that are the drive-thru at the banks right now, because I haven't been to the bank for a little bit. So yeah, anyways, I think that's it, guys. I hope you guys all have a great day. Did I finish going over the list? For bubbles, soap, paint, or glaze if you're doing it on pottery, and straw, and like a Dixie cup size. It could be a glass, but you don't want a very big size. It even could be like a cap, like what I showed yesterday. That would be probably a little bit too small, but anything that's like Dixie cup size. So what I have and what I'm going to use is right here, if I can grab it. So yeah, this is just like a Dixie cup. What does it say? Don't let sticky stick. It's like little inspirational dentist things for your bathroom. So anyways, that's it for today. I hope you guys all have a great day. Thank you again for watching. Happy coffee on, what day are we? Thursday. And then tomorrow is the bubble day, and then we'll have to be back on Tuesday. So hope everybody has a great day. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.